Welcome to the finale of Red Hood Rebirth right here at Comicstorian. This is where we take some of your favorite comic books, your video games, your movies. We break down the plots into a synopsis so that you understand what's going on and are able to talk about these characters and storylines with your friends and know what's happening. Don't forget to check out the books yourself at your local comic book store or through our links down below. But today we're going to be covering Red Hood 49 and 50, the finale to everything. So here's your very quick recap. Jason Todd is Red Hood, and through the course of a ton of issues, has basically turned himself into an anti-hero and runs the group known as the Outlaws. At this point in the storyline, he's been working with Artemis and Bizarro ended up killing Trigon. The book then went on to a hiatus in which we did a little bit of Joker War stuff, but now we're back to see the conclusion to Bizarro killing Trigon and the conclusion to the Outlaws. It's been a crazy ride. Please stick around to the end of the video as I have a lot to say about this overall run, but it's time to end it. Here's the final fight for Red Hood and the Outlaws. Within the Chamber of All, the fight against Trigon's minions rages on while a past version of the Outlaws stand out in front of it all, giving Jason and Artemis the cover that they need to seal the gateway to Trigon's domain. But in the midst of it all, Jason takes a moment to let it sink in that in front of him, from a different timeline, he sees Arsenal alive. General Glory says that he needs to snap out of it, and Artemis tells him that their priority is to close the portal to hell. Hurry up and help! The Red Hood from the past falls behind, telling Jason, "You got yourself an eclectic group here, huh?" Jason pushes on the doors, telling his past self, "This isn't even everyone. We got one on the inside." Back in the aforementioned hell, Bizarro holds Trigon's heart, stating, "So, that happened." And then the demons all begin to chant, You killed Trigon!" Bizarro tells them, "Me, I'm sorry. Bizarro didn't mean to kill your king. Never fought so much evil. Guess I'm stronger than me, no. Me, I'm going now." Except instead of stopping him, the demons all kneel shouting, "Bizarro set us free! Our liberator! He's our new liege! It is our tradition that the victor takes his place on the throne!" Bizarro looks at the throne of bones and he says, that's a hard no." Back outside of the portal, Jason asks Starfire if she could see Bizarro from up there, and she tells him, "I am sorry, Seconds Jason. I cannot see through the necroplasmic energy on the other side of the wall." Sorrow sighs, stated that he feels like all of this is his fault. He spent his entire life protecting this ancient chamber, using Jason and the Outlaws through multiple timelines, and in a momentary lapse of faith, he now watches as this doorway gets obliterated forever. Jason tells him that he shouldn't be so hard on himself. Life is more than screwing up. It's about standing up and trying again. Just then, a screech can be heard as one of the demons bites down onto Essence's shoulder. The past Red Hood shoots the demon off as he and Jason look at Essence, and Red Hood says, I didn't expect to see that, did you?" Jason tells him, "Nope." And the two look down at Isabel, an old girlfriend from a long time ago. Jason asks, Did Essence trap you in the sword?" And Isabel yells, "It doesn't matter right now! I don't matter right now! You have to shut the door, Jason!" Jason tells her, "You shouldn't have to do this." And Isabel insists that they don't have time to argue. They are in the middle of a war, and they need an immortal ninja goddess a hell of a lot more than they need a flight attendant right now. Jason turns to Isabel, "I'm sorry, but I do love you." Isabel laughs, "You can just stop. Though that is nice to hear." As Isabel takes the blood sword, standing back up as Essence, Arsenal yells, "Well, I'm glad that that's over with. Now can somebody give me a hand here?" Everyone gets back into the fight, and Starfire gets hit from behind, and Arsenal rushes over to catch her. But back in hell, the demons shout at Bizarro as he stands over Trigon's body as it is spewing energy, fueling the gate, yelling, "Wait, that's our only way out!" Bizarro slams a boulder down on the open hole inside of Trigon, and the energy breaks it away, and the demons begin to climb up to escape. Bizarro flies up using his cooling breath to freeze the flaming pillar, stating, "No, and not happening on my watch. No one gets out on Bizarro watch." While the demon horde is stopped from getting out, Arsenal looks up, stating, "All right, so that's the door we came through. No, wait, that one." But before the doorway is closed, Artemis asks if what are they going to do about Bizarro, and then Bizarro appears before his friends. "Bizarro have made his decision. Bizarro am going to stay. Jason and Artemis ask him why, but Bizarro tells them, "Me am killed Trigon, their ruler. If no one here to rule, they come to Earth. Me am ruler." Bizarro then hugs the two of them. "Jason, Artemis, everything Bizarro am because of you." And with one last smile, he flies back to the portal of hell. Jason takes off his mask, asking, What do we do?" And Artemis says that they honor his sacrifice. "Now push the door, Jason!" Moments later, with the portal closed, Saru tells the past outlaws of past Red Hood, Starfire, and Arsenal that this door will lead them back to their timeline. And once they go back there, they will be none the wiser of what just happened. The past outlaws say their goodbyes to their future selves, but before Arsenal walks in, Jason tells him, "Hang on a second." Arsenal turns back and smiles. "Hey, what's up, future Jaybird?" Jason hesitates for a moment, and then he hands Arsenal his hat, telling him that he dropped it during the fight. Arsenal puts it back on and he tells him, "Haha, see you again?" Jason tells him, "Absolutely." As the door to the past shuts with the past outlaws inside of it, Jason puts on his mask. "All right, let's get the hell out of here." And down in hell, Bizarro sits on his throne watching the outside world through his crystal ball. Artemis asks Jason if he's okay, and Jason tells her, "Not yet, but I think I will be." And that, my friends, concludes the storyline of Red Hood and the Outlaws that was started by Scott Liddell all the way back at New 52 issue number 1. The story in which he teamed up with Arsenal and Starfire, the story in which he teamed up with Artemis and Bizarro, and the story where he teamed up with Arsenal and Joker's daughter. The story in which he went to the death in the family, to which he went into space, to which he went to an alternate dimension, and he battled against the Untitled. But that doesn't feel like a satisfying ending, does it? Well, luckily, they gave us issue 50 to give us the epilogue. Let's do that. As the sun rises over Ma Gun's home for wayward boys, Jason wakes up and looks out the window. A voice asks if he's okay, and he says, "Couldn't be better, you?" Artemis sits up in the bed, stating that she hasn't slept so soundly in such a long time. Jason sits beside her, asking, "Oh, anything happened last night that tired you out?" She laughs, telling him nothing is coming to mind. But after a few moments, she takes Jason's hand, asking if he wants to talk about something. He seems so deep in thought. He asks, where does he even start? All the times that they ran into a hail of bullets, Arsenal dies just because he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, rehab no less. Bizarro couldn't have been a nicer goof and now he sits in the throne of hell. And Corey, we used to be so close and now she spends all her time in space. I just miss everyone, Artemis. We've lost so many. Artemis kisses Jason's forehead, telling him that's because he's human. Not in a bad way. Doesn't he ever wonder why the Outlaws followed him? Jason laughs, stating, actually, it's because you guys couldn't get into the Justice League, isn't it? At that moment, there's a deep growl coming from the outside, and out in the field, Monsieur Malat is currently yelling that the rules of the game are in the title. Don't get eaten by the angry gorilla! The kids of Generation Outlaw all stand out there staring, and Devour says under his breath, so glad I'm not paying for this class. Jason cocks his gun, pointing at Mala, telling him that the class is dismissed. Furious George. Ma Gun comes out in her robes, asking if she can have a minute. Once everyone gets dressed, Ma Gun says that they're going to need to make a decision. Those kids of Generation Outlaw, they're going to need to be properly cared for, and if he isn't up for the task, then she'll take them in. He can either trust her methods or take the Generation Outlaw kids and leave. Jason gets a ping on his phone, and as he looks at it, he tells Ma Gun that they're all hers. He has to go. So 20 minutes later, in the block, Dr. Shay's R&D complex in the middle of the Earth, Jason steps out of the portal asking how is she? Shay says that she is well. Thank you. And yourself, Jason? Jason sighs, stating that he's been a bit concerned is all. Is she okay? As Shay leads him through the door, she tells him that she is conscious. Okay isn't the word that springs to her mind, but again, she doesn't know what Dula was like before her coma. Jason walks into the medical room where Dula Dent has been ever since she was involved in the Joker War, sitting up in her bed, covering her face, trying to hide from everyone. Jason nudges her, stating, hey, I brought you a present. Nothing expensive, but it had your name on it. He then pulls out a mask, and he sets it on Dula's face and smiles. There you go. With the Joker mask on, Dula begins to maniacally laugh, and Jason says, yeah, maybe I should have rethought that one. 3 weeks later, at Jason's Iceberg Casino in Gotham, he steps off the elevator, stating that he appreciates them keeping an eye on her. Susie Sue, once enemy, now friend, but also enemy, sits back in her chair, stating that their ghastly friend is a little more than a psychotic killer fueled by rage. Jason shrugs, stating that describes most of them at one point or another. So Susie motions to the back door, stating, "Don't you even get me started on that." But the ragamuffin is making progress. Even if it's slow, she's skittish. Inside, Susie's sister Blanc is helping Dula Dent as she learns to walk again, stating that she's doing great, and Jason yells, "Yeah, for a dish rag." Blanc asks, "What the hell? So rude." And Jason tells her, "I don't see it that way." What's more hurtful is she's pretending that this isn't embarrassing. Dula hisses at Jason, and Jason laughs. "Oh, I'm so scared of Joker's daughter. I've kicked your father's butt more than once. You think I'm afraid of you?" Dula growls as she lunges forward, but then she stops, and Jason pauses. "See?" Dula looks at herself standing on her own, and she begins to laugh. Susie walks in, stating, "That was kind of beautiful." And Blanc says, "If you say so." A short while later, in the Wayne family graveyard, the rain begins to pour down, and Dula looks at the grave, asking, "Isn't that you, Jason?" Jason tells her, "Yeah. I was actually buried here for a bit, but I got a second chance, which I immediately screwed up because I was angry and vengeful." Dula asks if he really did drag her out here to give her the "don't make the same mistakes as I" PSA. Jason then asks, "How did I do?" She says A for effort, but they did try to kill her. She's not going to let Punchline or her dad get away with that. Jason turns to leave, stating, "I can't make your mistakes for you, and I can't stitch together that hole in your heart. All I can say is I'm here for you when you decide to come out of the cold." Early the next morning, Jason sits up in his bed as Artemis comes in, stating, "When I was made whole again, I was upset when I realized all my scars were healed. From the crowbar, from the bomb. Those were my scars. I earned them. Does that make any sense?" Artemis tells him, of course it does. Scars are the stories that the body tells about their lives. But meanwhile, outside, Dula jumps out her window to escape and get her revenge, and she's stopped by a very unexpected guard. Pup Pup yells, "Hark! Take another step and feel the wrath of Pup Pup!" But before he could finish, Dula kicks him across the yard, stating, "That is actually adorable." And Pup Pup gets up. "What the what?" Dula walks over to help him up, but Pup Pup tells her, "Do not patronize me. I am an outlaw too, so have a little respect." Dula sighs, stating that Jason really does have some weird friends. And Pup Pup says, "Right," says the girl in the leather Joker mask. "But you're up late. What's on your mind?" Dula tells him that for a talking pillow, she'll give Pup Pup a shot. In the beginning, she knew she was different, even as her father would beat her, and her mother watched, and she laughed and laughed. She knew she was destined for more. Everything changed when she found that mask, though. She knew who she was. She killed her parents so that she could become the Joker's daughter. Pup Pup pauses and stares at her. "A word of that isn't true, is it?" Dula sighs. "No, that's the origin I tell people. My parents are two of the nicest people. Only wrong thing they ever did was love me too much." Pup Pup stops her. "I lost my brother not too long ago. Can I tell you something?" Dula asks, "Can I stop you?" Pup Pup ignores the comment and tells her, "I miss Bizarro more than the air. Your family probably feels the same way." As the sun comes up, Jason finds Dula and Pup Pup sleeping in the yard. He places his jacket over them to let them sleep a little bit longer. And so a few days later, on Wall Street in New York, there's an explosion and several identical men start to come out. One of them yells, "We done it, Chairman!" And another says, "I know, we all share the same mind." A red light then shines down on them, and Jason asks if she's ready to fight on the side of the Sword of Angels. And Dula says, "Yeah, why not?" Trying to get the Joker's attention never worked for her. The outlaws jump into action, but shortly into the brawl, Dula's fragile mind shatters. She screams in fear, and before one of the chairmen can get to her, Jason grabs her, pointing his gun at the men, telling him to back off. "Now!" Dula yells, "The killing, the death, it's not funny anymore. I can't. No, I don't want to do it anymore, Jason. I'm so tired of being someone I'm not." She takes off the mask, and Jason asks her, "What do you want?" And Dula tells him, "I just want to go home." So a week later, she sets out stating that she feels bad. She really hopes that they don't think she gave up. And Artemis tells her that living the life that she wants is the greatest act of defiance. Dula tells Jason thank you for helping her not be like him. And Jason says, "I think you're welcome?" And the two laugh. Pup Pup jumps out of Dula's backpack stating, "Good one. Now let's go. It's getting hot as heck in here." Later, now that Dula's going home, Jason and Artemis leave, but after a long ride, Artemis stops. Jason pulls up next to her asking, "Are we taking a break?" After a few moments of peaceful silence, she says that this is it. This is the end of them. She isn't being mean. She's genuinely happy for him. He has grown so much since he started the Outlaws, but he doesn't need them anymore. He doesn't need her. Say she isn't wrong. Jason lets out a light laugh, telling her, "You're not wrong. But if I ever needed anyone, it'd be you." Artemis kisses Jason on the cheek, telling him that that was the adventure, and he's going to be fine. "See you around, Red Hood?" And Jason watches her leave, telling her, "Promise." For the first time in a long time, Jason feels alone. But it does feel a lot better than betrayal, or rage, or vengeance. When he came back to life, he never really gave himself time or space to celebrate that miracle. He may not have been the best sidekick to Batman. He was a pretty craptastic supervillain. But he'll be damned if he wasn't one hell of an outlaw. Best friends with some of the greatest people that he has ever known. Maybe that's what this whole journey was about. Maybe he just needed to be the best Jason Todd that he could be. So at the end of the day, he's just a guy going home. And that concludes the Red Hood that many of us have come to know and love in all of this time. If you don't know, the Red Hood that many of you traditionally do know, the real Red Hood, is from this run and this run only. When Red Hood first came out, he was intended to be a one-off villain, a nobody, who then got so popular that he came back multiple times as a villain to Batman. He then did some weird flip-flopping, becoming a hero, then villain, then hero, then villain, trying to redeem himself in Batman's eyes, but DC liked him being a villain, so he'd come back and fight against Dick Grayson or other members of the Bat family on a regular basis. All of that eventually came to head at the New 52, when Scott Liddell tried to turn Jason into an ongoing series in which he was a good guy, trying to learn how to be a good guy with other heroes, and that all started with Arsenal and Starfire. You guys may have wondered why we did that every Sunday series in which I covered the original New 52 of Red Hood. The reason is really simple. Scott Liddell, for the most part, did the entire New 52 run. He then did Red Hood and Arsenal during DCU, and then Red Hood Rebirth, Scott Liddell again. So while there were other writers such as James Tynion coming in and doing various portions of the story, the overall direction was what he initially intended for Jason to kind of get his redemption. And as someone who is stuck by this series through its weird times, like going into space or becoming the Prince of Crime in Gotham, and through its best times, such as the battle against Batman in the middle of Gotham during Red Hood Rebirth, or perhaps the battle against Ra's al Ghul at the end of New 52, this is probably one of my all-time favorite series for a superhero because it's so new and fresh. It only started back in like 2007, 2008, and it's been 12 years leading to this moment. No, Red Hood's not going away for good. I guarantee you DC's going to do more and more of them. He's about to pop up on the Titans TV show. He's about to be in more video games. Red Hood has become a staple fan favorite for many members of the Batman whole thing. And I'm one of those guys. I have a Red Hood tattoo. But it doesn't matter how you look at it. It's going in a new direction with a whole new, just everything for Jason. This was an incredible ride, and it's a long ride that many of us have been on. So I hope you guys enjoyed. In a couple of months, we're going to give you the ultimate full story, covering 12 years of Red Hood storylines in one big video. I hope you're looking forward to that, but don't think this is the end. If this is your first video, go check out the whole Red Hood storyline, and don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that like button, because as we get into the new stuff with Red Hood, we'll be covering those arcs and telling you the new direction that he's going in. But if this is all you wanted was the conclusion to Red Hood, and those of you who will never be back after this, thank you for this long, crazy ride of covering every storyline that Red Hood has been in, outside of that weird wingman kind of thing, but that's just Batman Inc. stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video right here at Comicstorian.